Tifa Lockhart, the other love interest and childhood friend of Cloud, has her theme used differently to Aerith's. Her theme is not constantly played when in her presence like Aerith's upon first reunion. Tifa's theme occupies a space of time, specifically the past, although plays once in the present if her romantic route is chosen. Across the 5 instances Tifa's theme plays, there is a mention of the past, or a visual stimulus recalls a memory of their past. The first instance is upon seeing the Sector 7 slums, and specifically 7th Heaven, a bar where Cloud has been told she works. The underscore takes up the intro to her theme as you enter the residential area of Sector 7, but then avoids playing more than small passages hinting towards her theme. It only begins as Cloud and Bat arrive at the steps to 7th Heaven. In this instance, before he speaks to her in the past is mentioned. Only after physically seeing her on the steps to 7th Heaven does her lay motif play.
Marlene.
Daddy, you're home!
That's right, Angel, I
Welcome
am.
back.
Have you been a good girl?
Yeah, I've been helping Tifa.
Oh, you did you? Well, well.
This is in line with her theme relating more to the past and memories for Cloud, as opposed to the present. The actual use of the leitmotif is a musical and emotional reaction upon Cloud and the player seeing her. The next time we hear her theme is upon completing a side objective later in Chapter 3.
It's just... you've really changed.
How?
I suppose it's... yeah, your eyes. They used to be less...
It's the Mako. Soldier, remember?
I remember. So, what do you want to do now? Head back to the bar, or do you want to tackle another job or two?
This is one of the several instances of the past being brought up by Tifa. However, in almost all of them, Cloud is very quick to shut any discussion of the past down, suggesting there is something there that he finds uncomfortable and later describes as not exactly small talk, although we never find out what it could be, in the remake anyway. The most interesting to me, however, is when Cloud sees himself and Tifa on a water tower before a mission.
I'm gonna be a soldier. The best of the best, like Sephiroth.
The Great War hero, huh? Isn't it pretty hard to become a soldier?
Yeah, so I won't be back for a long time.
Guess not. Think you'll be in the papers?
I'll try.
Just promise me one thing. When we're older, and you're a famous soldier, if I'm ever trapped or in trouble, promise you'll come and save me.
Huh?
That's what heroes do. They save people. Please? Just once. Come on, promise me.
Fine. I promise.
This example uses xylophone and harp to create a feeling of the past and dreams, with the musical cues again hinting at Tifa's theme. However, it does not transition into it until the seemingly perfect romantic moment. After this flashback ends, he then remembers her earlier words and resolves to act upon his promise. However, without the use of her theme, you would not associate any romantic response from Cloud to this promise, as outwardly he just looks and sounds a little annoyed. These instances allow us to see Cloud's perspective through the world music, meaning the player can closer understand Cloud's feelings towards events and other characters, which is important due to Cloud's quiet, hardly emotive personality. As I have just discussed 2 main characters' themes, I think it is wise to mention how they have changed from the original. While key leitmotifs remain in each theme, all themes feature additional passages around them to fit the new adapted musical system. But not all character themes remain as similar as they did in the original. The Final Fantasy VII world spans 4 consoles and has a sequel film. Most of the themes were updated for the sequel movie Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Yet some have once again changed for the better in the remake, one such example being the Turks theme. The Turks are Shinra's squad of, as Aerith says, professional bad guys who deal with unpleasant situations, and are the ones who later in the plot destroy Sector 7 by dropping the Plate District upon the Slums District. In the instance I am about to show you, however, Reno, one of the three main Turks, the other two being Tusung and Rude, interrupt Cloud and Aerith's reunion.
Huh? I'll see myself in. Thanks. And who are you?
He's my bodyguard. And a soldier. Pretty cool, huh?
Huh? A soldier?
Ex-soldier.
Well, what do you know? You've got the eyes at least.
The original Turks theme in Final Fantasy VII was very percussive and seemed to use samples of metal bangs to help form its percussion. The remake version, however, does not sound much like that of Final Fantasy VII. The main melody is now a guitar, and the sampled metal percussion is replaced with a very subtle drum kit. In this, it sounds like a further evolution of the theme in the movie sequel Advent Children. This introduced the Western-sounding guitar, but still placed a heavy emphasis on loud metallic percussion. This revision helps to give the Turks a less discordant, much cooler laid-back attitude, making them more interesting and compelling to the player, especially as they develop a conscience towards the end and display discontent after their actions destroying Sector 7. Sometimes, the music is there for the player's benefit or detriment, not so much as a description of character. This occurs when involved in gameplay as opposed to cutscenes, often during minigame segments. The minigames use music for different purposes. Two of the most interesting minigames take place in a dangerous place called Wall Market. In one instance, the player competes in a squat-off minigame where you press a button pattern that gets faster to outperform your competition. In this game, the timing of your button presses relies on the player's internal rhythm and eyes, requiring them not to follow the music, as tempo change and time signature changes aim to throw the player off, often successfully, as you've just built up speed by the slowdown sections.
You've got this, come on! I knew you could do it! That's how it's done. Not bad at all. Your form's looking good. You've got this, come on! Not bad at all. I knew you could do it! That's how it's done. Not bad at all. I knew you could do it! You've got this, come on! Your form's looking good. That's how it's done. You've got this, come on! I knew you could do it! Not bad at all. You've got this, come on! That's how it's done. I knew you could do it! Your form's looking good. That's how it's done. Not bad at all. I knew you could do it! You've got this, come on! I knew you could do it! That's how it's done. Your form's looking good. Not bad at all. I knew you could do it! Your form's looking good. You've got this, come on! That's how it's done. Not bad at all. Your form's looking... I knew you could... You've got this, come on! You can do better than that.
Shortly after this, in the Honeybee Inn, a cabaret-style club, Cloud is required to dance with the owner to earn his approval and gain access to Don Corneo's palace, where Tifa is being held. Before this, however, the player is given a chance to practice the mechanic.
Delicious! Perfection! Work it, honey! Delicious! Perfection! Work it, honey! Delicious! Perfection! Work it, honey! Delicious!
The music in this clip is a remake in of its namesake, Let the Battles Begin. Now, Cloud dances to Let the Battles Begin remake. This is explained by the fact that you are given the tune for the jukeboxes around the world if you do well. The player uses this music to time button presses to get great rank for each opportunity. While like most rhythm games, total accuracy is not required, in the minigame you are only rewarded with the prize if you do well. The clever way music is manipulated in these instances to aid or throw off the player is a clever way of creating a sense of pressure, tying the physical exertion of the character to the players by creating a mental exertion for them. Both of these minigames taking practice, and especially in the squat-off and pull-up minigames, a harder version of the squat-off accessed later in the plot, a lot of frustration to complete for the best prizes. In conclusion, the musical aspect of Final Fantasy VII Remake is of the utmost importance to the understanding of the characters and allowing the player to better interact with the world. Without the music, the game's quiet protagonist would remain isolated from the player, and minigames would fall flat. But with music, the world opens to the player. Thank you for listening to my presentation.